I uninvited my sister-in-law from my wedding after she revealed my pregnancy on Instagram against my wishes. And now my in-laws think I'm overreacting while my fiancé supports me. When I look back on the last couple of months, it feels like I've been living in two worlds at once. On the surface, everything looked the same. Work, errands, wedding planning, dinners with family, but underneath it all, there was this huge, precious secret growing inside me. I'm 26, and for the first time in my life, I actually feel like I'm standing at the center of my own story instead of orbiting someone else's. My fiancé, Ethan, is 28, steady and kind, the kind of person who remembers to bring snacks in the car and notices when I'm cold before I do. When I found out I was pregnant, I was shocked, terrified, but mostly overwhelmed with this feeling that life was finally clicking into place. It wasn't planned exactly, but it also wasn't unwanted. We had talked about kids, sure, but in the distant someday way that you talk about vacations or retirement plans. Suddenly, someday was now. Suddenly, there was this tiny heartbeat inside me, and every decision felt heavier and brighter. From the start, we agreed on one thing. We were going to keep it private until after the first trimester. I knew the statistics. I knew the risks. I didn't want to tell the whole world, except congratulations, and then, God forbid, have to untell it all if something went wrong. I've seen friends go through that. It's brutal, so we came up with a plan. We'd tell only immediate family, our parents and siblings, and swear them to secrecy until I hit 12 weeks. After that, fine, we could throw confetti, make posts, answer endless questions. But not before, and in theory it sounded simple. Families keep secrets all the time, right? Wrong. My parents were thrilled when we told them, but they respected the boundary. My mom even said, "Don't worry, sweetheart. I won't breathe a word. This is your news to share." My dad cried, which I'll never forget. My younger brother fist-bumped Ethan and started researching cool uncle jokes online. Ethan's family was different. His parents were excited, but his mom is the type of person who has to sit on her hands not to post everything on Facebook the minute she hears it. She swore she'd wait though, and I believed her. The weak link was his sister, Claire. Claire is 29, the oldest of the siblings, and she has always had a flair for dramatics. She's the kind of person who posts a get ready with me video for going to the grocery store. The kind who turns every family dinner into content. And she's competitive, in a subtle, needling way. If you're excited about something, she'll find a way to insert herself into it, to make herself the star. I'd had a few tense moments with her before, little things. She announced Ethan's promotion on Facebook before he had told anyone. She spoiled our engagement by dropping hints online before we'd made it official. It's like she doesn't understand the difference between her life and ours. Everything to her is fair game for likes and comments. So when we told her about the pregnancy, I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Claire, you cannot tell anyone. Not online, not in person, not even as a joke. We're not making it public until after 12 weeks, she laughed. Relax, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just so excited. I'm gonna be an auntie. Later, I said firmly. Not now. Later, she echoed, rolling her eyes. I didn't feel reassured, but Ethan squeezed my hand and I told myself it would be fine. She's family. She'll respect this. A week later, we had a family dinner at Ethan's parents' house. It was warm, crowded, chaotic, the way family dinners always are. His mom had made too much food. His dad opened too much wine. Claire was there in a bright dress, documenting everything on her phone like she always does. I was nervous, sitting there with my little secret pressing against my ribs. I kept my hands over my stomach without meaning to. I kept checking Ethan's face across the table, silently asking, do they know? Did she say anything? But everyone seemed normal. Too normal. We got through the evening. Lots of laughter, some teasing, nothing out of the ordinary. When we left, I actually thought, okay, maybe this will work out. Maybe she can handle keeping something private for once in her life. That illusion lasted less than a week. The night everything exploded was so ordinary at first. I was curled up on the couch, scrolling through my phone, half watching some rerun on TV. Ethan was in the kitchen making tea. Then my phone buzzed with a notification. You were tagged in a story. I clicked it automatically. And there it was. Claire, in a bathroom mirror, recording a "Get ready with me" for last weekend's dinner. She was talking about her outfit, her makeup, laughing into the camera. And then, casual as anything, she tossed her hair and said, "Gotta look good for family dinner. You never know when you'll be celebrating something big. Plus, becoming an auntie soon. So exciting." She winked. She tagged me. She tagged Ethan. My stomach dropped. Within seconds, my phone started buzzing like a wasp nest. Messages. Dozens of them. Friends I hadn't seen in months, coworkers, distant cousins, all saying the same thing. OMG, congratulations. Is it true? You're pregnant? I stared at the screen in disbelief. My secret, our secret, was gone, and it wasn't even me who told it. The shock hit me like a physical wave. For a long second, I couldn't breathe, couldn't even process what I was looking at. There was Claire, smiling smugly into her phone camera, eyeliner winged to perfection, casually blowing up my entire world with one sentence. Becoming an auntie soon. I blinked, hoping maybe I'd misheard. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe she meant something else. Maybe I'd gone insane. But there it was, Bold and undeniable. My name tagged, Ethan's name tagged, the context crystal clear, and then my phone started vibrating nonstop. Notification after notification, each one like a hammer against my skull.
OMG, congrats!
Wait, are you serious? Why didn't you tell me? So happy for you. Every time I tried to swipe away a message, 5 more popped up. Friends from college, work acquaintances, distant cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. Even my boss sent a congrats, with an array of baby emojis before I could even think of how to respond. By the time Ethan came into the living room carrying 2 mugs of tea, my hands were shaking. What's going on? He asked, frowning. I turned my phone toward him. The video was still looping. Claire, with her smug little smile, saying it over and over like a broken record, becoming an auntie soon. His face darkened instantly. Oh my God, I could barely speak. She tagged us. Everyone knows. Everyone. Ethan, I haven't even told my best friend yet. And now my coworkers are texting me. The mug in his hand rattled against the table when he set it down. He looked furious, angrier than I'd ever seen him, but I was already spiraling. I felt robbed, like something sacred had been ripped out of my hands. We'd wanted to share the news on our own terms, with joy and care, after we felt safe. Now it had been turned into Claire's cheap little social media stunt, and I lost it. I grabbed my phone, pulled up her contact, and hit call. My hands were trembling so badly I nearly dropped the phone. But when she answered, my voice came out like a blade. What the hell is wrong with you? I screamed. There was a pause, then her overly casual voice. Hi? You posted it. You posted it, after I told you not to. After we were crystal clear, Claire? What the actual hell? She laughed nervously, the way people laugh when they're caught red-handed. Oh my God, relax. It was an accident. An accident? My voice cracked. You don't accidentally say you're going to be an auntie. You don't accidentally tag the pregnant couple. You did it on purpose. I didn't. I was just teasing. It's not that deep. Not that deep? My throat was tight, my eyes stinging with tears. I had 50 messages before I even realized what you did. You told people something that wasn't yours to share. You took this moment away from us. She groaned, like I was the one inconveniencing her. I didn't think it was a big deal. Everyone's just happy for you. Why are you acting like I committed a crime? Because you might as well have, I snapped. Do you even realize the position you put me in? What if something happens? What if, God forbid, I miscarry? Now I'll have to explain it to dozens of people because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. Silence, then in a small voice, I forgot you didn't want people to know yet. I almost dropped the phone. You forgot? Claire, I looked you in the eyes and told you, word for word, not to tell a soul. And you forgot? Ethan, sitting beside me, put a hand on my knee, trying to calm me, but I was beyond reason. The betrayal stung too much. I can't believe you, I whispered. My voice was shaking now, no longer sharp but raw. This was supposed to be one of the happiest announcements of my life. And you ruined it. You ruined it for a few likes on Instagram. She started crying then, loud, dramatic sobs that I knew from experience were more about guilt and attention than real remorse. I didn't mean to. I was just excited. You're making me feel like a horrible person. You are acting like a horrible person, I cut in, my anger flaring again. And you know what? You're uninvited from the wedding. There was a stunned silence on the other end. Then a choked gasp. What? You can't be serious. I'm dead serious. My voice was cold, final. If you can't respect our boundaries for something this important, you don't deserve to be at our wedding. She sobbed harder, but I ended the call. The second I hung up, I collapsed against Ethan's shoulder, shaking. He wrapped his arms around me, kissing my forehead, whispering, "You did the right thing. I'm so sorry she did this." I'm so sorry, but even in his arms, I felt the tidal wave coming. I knew Claire wouldn't keep this quiet. I knew by morning her parents, my future in-laws, would be calling furious. I knew this fight wasn't even close to over, and I was right. I woke up the next morning to the kind of silence that isn't peaceful but heavy, like the world is holding its breath. My phone was face down on the nightstand, but I could feel it buzzing before I even touched it. Dozens of notifications, missed calls, messages stacked on top of each other like an avalanche I couldn't hold back. Ethan was still asleep, his arm draped across my waist, but my stomach was churning too hard to rest. I slid out of bed and sat on the floor with my phone, bracing myself. The first thing I saw was the family group chat. Claire. She uninvited me from the wedding. Because I made one mistake. She's insane. Mill. Wait, what is happening, Claire? Claire. I posted one thing by accident and she screamed at me. Now apparently I'm not welcome at the wedding anymore. Can you believe this? Fell. This is ridiculous. It was a harmless post. Why would she do that? My name wasn't even mentioned at first, as if I were some villain lurking in the shadows, not even human enough to address directly. My chest tightened with each new message. Then my mother-in-law chimed in again. My name, I can't believe you'd go this far. This is supposed to be a happy time for the family. You're ruining everything over social media. I dropped the phone onto the carpet, my hands shaking. Ruining everything? That was the line. Somehow Claire wasn't the one who had crossed a boundary. It was me for daring to enforce it. Ethan stirred and sat up, rubbing his eyes. What's wrong? I just handed him the phone. He scrolled, his expression darkening by the second. By the time he reached the bottom, his jaw was clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. "They're unbelievable," he muttered. "They should be furious with her, not you." "Do you think I went too far?" I asked quietly. It wasn't that I doubted myself, but when you're up against an entire family telling you you're overreacting, it plants seeds. Doubt is invasive like that. "No," he said it instantly, firmly. "You asked for one thing, one boundary, and she stomped all over it. If she can't respect that, then she doesn't get to stand by us on the most important day of our lives." Before I could answer, my phone rang again, my mother-in-law. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, she called Ethan instead. He answered, his voice flat. "Hi, Mom?" I could hear her shrill voice even from across the room. "Ethan, talk some sense into her. This is outrageous. She can't just uninvite your sister over something so silly." "It's not silly," he said, calm but with an edge. "She broke our trust. We told her to keep it private. She didn't. Now everyone knows. And my name is devastated. Devastated. Oh, come on. Everyone is excited. This should be celebrated, not hidden away like it's some shameful thing." Claire was just being enthusiastic. Enthusiastic? His voice rose. "She outed something we weren't ready to share. Do you have any idea how stressful that is? What if something had happened? What if we'd had to walk all that back?" There was a pause on the other end, then more sharp words I couldn't make out. Finally, Ethan cut her off. "If you can't support us on this, then maybe you shouldn't come either." And he hung up. My heart thudded in my chest. "You didn't have to—" "Yes, I did." He turned to me, eyes blazing. "They need to know we're united on this. I won't let them bully you. Not over our baby. Not over our wedding." Tears welled up in my eyes, partly from relief, partly from exhaustion. For so long, I'd worried that Ethan might waver when it came to his family, that he'd ask me to back down for the sake of peace. But he didn't. He was with me fully, without hesitation. Still, the storm didn't end there. The rest of the week was a blur of whispered conversations and pointed stares. Ethan's parents refused to drop it. They said I was dividing the family, that I was holding a grudge, that I should be grateful people are excited. Claire posted a cryptic Instagram story, just a black screen with the words, "Some people just don't know how to forgive." And of course, people started messaging me asking if it was about me. Meanwhile, my own parents called me every night, telling me to stay strong. My mom said, "This is about trust, honey. If she broke it now, what would stop her from doing it again?" My dad offered to pay for extra security at the wedding just so I wouldn't have to see her face there. And me? I was caught between rage and grief. Rage at Claire for stealing my moment, for shoving me into the spotlight before I was ready. Grief for the loss of what should have been a joyful, controlled announcement. Grief that my child's existence had already become family drama before they were even born. The night before we sent out final RSVPs, Ethan and I sat together at the kitchen table, staring at the guest list. Claire's name sat there like a curse, mocking me. I drew a line through it. Ethan didn't even hesitate. "Good," he said, and just like that, the decision was final. Claire was out. Of course, the blowback was immediate, and it was brutal. Once Claire's name was officially off the guest list, the fallout hit like an avalanche. It wasn't just a ripple, it was a tidal wave that crashed through both families, stirring up gossip, resentment, and drama I never thought I'd have to deal with in the middle of wedding planning and early pregnancy. The family group chat exploded. Claire played the victim so well, I almost had to admire the performance. Claire, I can't believe she's doing this to me. Over one mistake. One. I've been there for them my whole life and now I'm being punished like I'm some stranger. Mill. It's cruel, honestly. Weddings are about family, not grudges. Phil. I won't stand for this kind of division. Ethan, you need to get your fiancé under control. That line made my blood boil. Get your fiancé under control. As if I were some unruly pet. As if I hadn't just had something deeply personal stolen from me and paraded online for attention. Ethan fired back immediately. This is our wedding. Our baby, our decisions. If you can't respect that, don't come. And then there was silence in the chat for hours. Until Claire posted a crying selfie to her Instagram story with the caption, "Sometimes the people you love most hurt you the worst." It didn't take long before I started getting messages from mutual friends. What happened? Why is Claire so upset? Is this about the wedding? She didn't name me, but she didn't have to. Everyone knew. Suddenly, my pregnancy news wasn't just news, it was drama, and I hated that with every bone in my body. Meanwhile, my own family rallied behind me. My mom told me, "You don't owe anyone access to your life if they can't respect your boundaries." My dad was livid, calling Ethan just to say, "Son, you did the right thing standing by her." My younger brother, never one to miss an opportunity, started calling me the enforcer in group chats, which at least made me laugh when I needed it. But laughter couldn't erase the knot in my stomach. Every time I thought about the wedding, instead of picturing flowers or vows or our first dance, I pictured Claire's angry face. I pictured whispers at tables, relatives taking sides, my in-laws glaring at me across the room. I felt my chest tighten and thought, this is supposed to be the happiest day of my life. Why does it feel like a battlefield? There were nights when I broke down crying, telling Ethan, maybe I should just let her come. Maybe it's not worth all this fighting. But every time he pulled me close and said the same thing. It is worth it. If we cave now, we're telling her that our boundaries mean nothing. And I won't let her or anyone decide what's best for us. That's for us to decide. His words were my anchor. Slowly, I stopped questioning myself. HR-style rules began to emerge in my mind, like company policy for family drama. Rule number 1. If you break a boundary once, you lose the privilege of being included in sensitive things. Rule number 2. The people who respect your decisions will never make you feel guilty for setting them. Rule number 3. A wedding is about the couple, not about appeasing everyone else's egos. I clung to those rules every time guilt tried to sneak in. By the time the official invitations went out, the dust had mostly settled. Claire didn't reach out again, though I saw her passive-aggressive posts on social media. Ethan's parents reluctantly RSVP'd yes, though I knew they'd be cold when the day came. And honestly, I stopped caring because here's the truth. I'm pregnant. I'm building a life with the man I love. I have a wedding coming up where I'll walk down the aisle knowing that the person waiting for me at the altar is on my side, no matter what. And that's what matters. Yes, my in-laws think I'm overreacting. Yes, Claire probably tells anyone who will listen that I'm crazy for uninviting her. But I don't regret it for a second. Because the moment I let her back in, I'd be telling myself that my boundaries don't matter. That my voice doesn't matter. That my child's future privacy doesn't matter. And that's not the kind of mother or wife I want to be. So no, Claire won't be at my wedding. She won't be in my photos or my memories or my vows. And when my child is old enough to hear the story, they'll know that before they were even born, I learned how to stand up and protect what mattered most. And that's a story I can live with.